Hey guys, today we're going to talk about combining speed with melody. So I want to make sure that you guys are all there and you can see me and we're all good. Just make sure I'm not talking to myself. As always, I will give you a special discount code for watching today. Well, not as always, but I have a code today. And I want to talk to you guys about combining speed with melody. So there will be a Q&A at the end, and it'll be fun. So a lot of you ask me a lot of speed questions, which is cool because I like to play fast, but it is important to try and balance that. And so I thought of a few examples I want to talk to you guys about that I thought are artists or songs that do this. So I'm just going to make sure that Facebook is good and that you are all good on YouTube. So if you can see me, let me know. Let's see. But yes, I think that is actually a very, very cool topic because you guys have asked me a lot about speed, but you don't just want to be fast. You want to be more than that. So, okay, cool. Looks like we're good. So you definitely want to add to that, right? You don't just want to only be fast or be like a one-trick pony. So things, I wrote some notes too, things that I think are cool is that you want to enhance, the solo. You don't want to overpower it with just playing fast. So lead into something. I'm a huge fan of jam tracks. I think jam tracks are like the best thing ever that you can do because it's just a loop of ongoing, oh cool, Michigan, nice. A loop of ongoing music that you can just figure things out and you can figure out if that fast lick did work or you can test another melody. So I think they are extremely helpful because they do not get sick of you like maybe a person would if they were backing you. And it's just really good. I credit a lot of me like practicing to jam tracks. Cool, you're all good. Yay, on YouTube. Hi Jesse. And everybody here, Ed, Bob, Mike, Julie. Awesome. Cool. So yes, combining speed, and remember you can ask questions and stuff too. I'm a little stuffy today, so excuse my weird voice, but it'll be fun. So one of the songs that I was thinking about, or one of the artists too, is Yngwie. Yngwie actually does this quite a lot. He combines speed and melody, right? So there's a few ways to do this. There's a way to do it as just little touches here and there. Like I had showed you guys this song last week, but I thought of again. Sorry, my hair's in the dark. So see how we started with just a simple melody. And my guitar doesn't have fret markers, I know, so I'm actually I'll just tell you what I'm doing. So remember, if you don't have fret markers, it's not that hard because you have them on the side. So I just did an open E, then I slid 7, 6, 7. And that's a really simple melody. It kind of is like Ain't Talking About Love, right? Simple, and it happens a lot, and you'll hear it a lot. So I go, I slide into it, and all those things that he does, those little things, those techniques he throws in, I think that also makes it really special, just sliding. Let me back this up so I have a head. Alright, cool. So, then just 2 opens. So the first one, it's not really fast, but it's cool, right? So I dropped, so before I went like this, then I kind of dropped into this position where I move my pointer into the 4th fret and actually start with the 5th fret. So with my middle finger I go 5, 4, camera I'll pull off. Pinky goes back up to the 5th string, 7th fret, back to that note, 4th string, 4th string, 4th fret. And then just, it's actually fairly simple, right? So just going down on the 4th string, 7, 5, 4, middle finger back to the 5th string, 5th fret. So, right? So why I like this example is because I did a lesson before that was about, oh, let's see, it's all chopped up. Doug, go to YouTube if you're having trouble, I think. I think that would be good. And Rocky said, it's great to see so many talented female guitar players these days. I think so too. There's some crazy, crazy girl guitar players, and it is so cool. And there's like a community of us, and they're all pretty nice, so it's very awesome. And I mean, like, encouraging of one another, which is really important too. Oh, sorry, I had forgot what I was saying. I got distracted. So before I had talked about just setting up like a simple solo and an idea that just like a formula. And I suggested starting with an idea and then expanding on that idea, maybe coming back to that idea and ending with something crazy. And this kind of does that. So we start with an idea. Right? Then we do it again. But then we embellish it. Sorry, there's the fast part. So it's actually not that hard either. So I drop the third string, and I do that same hammer on pause. 5, 4, 5, 4. And then that fast part is just third string, 4th fret, pinky on the 4th string, 7th fret, and then I just go down 5 to 4, and then one more time, 7, 5, 4. So. But it really is cool because it stands out. So that's what I was saying about you can let it have its own moment, right? You don't have to just be doing that all the time because that makes that stand out so much more in this case, right? So then back to our first idea. Then he ends with so that part's not that crazy fast, but it is cool. So it's kind of that structure that I was talking about. Start with an idea, embellish it, go back to your idea, go crazy. So I think that's a really, really good example. I know it's hard to, Ed said, can you do that slower? He called it burning. That's cool. I always say shredding, but burning is cool. So what I did was, which part, that last part is, so I'm on the 5th string, and I'm doing like whole step, right? So I'm skipping over. I've said this before, there's about like, well, I mean, there's tons of different stuff, but typically you'll notice that the guitar will change from whole step, to whole step, half step to half step, whole step, and that will be a reoccurring pattern. Like, so like when if you were, improvising and maybe you're just trying to think in intervals, I think in intervals a lot, so sometimes I'm not thinking in exact scale patterns that are matching up all along the neck. I'll think of intervals and how I can connect that way. I just think it's a cool way to look at the guitar. So that meaning if I'm here and I'm tapping and I need another note, I can see that I have my whole step to half step to whole step. I'm going to go a whole step. And then I'll go to half step. All right. Sorry. Cool. Thanks, Lynn. So it sounds like we have girl guitar players in here today. That's awesome. So I want to go over that fast part that I did, but I think this is a really good example. It's called I Am a Viking by Yngwie Malmsteen, and when I got this topic, I was trying to think of like, it's kind of a broad topic because I also want you guys to feel like you can be really creative and make up your own melodies because everything's kind of a melody in a way, but you get better and better at it as you go on. So the other thing I wanted to do is just show you how you can slightly embellish things, and I thought Yngwie is a really good example of that. Let's see. Young kids too. Cool. I guess if you're having trouble on Facebook, remember you can always go to Instagram. You can always go to YouTube. Yeah, thanks, Chris. Chris said it's a great lick and melody, and just said he hopes I feel better. Thank you. I just sound funny, but I'm okay. So excuse this. I should probably be teaching you guys like Smelly Cat or something. All right, so let's go over that again for everyone that's just filtering. So it's called I Am a Viking by Yngwie Malmsteen. He has another example I think is cool too. Black Star is a really cool example, and pretty much like every song he's ever done is probably a good example. So open E. I'm in E flat though, so. Oh, sorry. Oh, I forgot it, but you can always do your own thing. So it goes. There we go. So I'm going 5th string. I'm going 3, 5, 7, 3, 5, 7. And then I drop my pointer to the 4th string. And then I treat it as kind of a sequence of 3. So I don't know if you guys have done a lot of those, but sequences are really cool ways to practice scales too. So to practice a scale as a sequence, you just think in 3. So I'm going to try and make sure I explain it as well as I feel like I know it in my head. So it's simpler than it sounds. So you go up 3, back 1, up 2, and then you go over and over and over. So like this. So this first time it just repeats the same thing, but then we go. So you're always replacing whatever note was the original note, like the next note becomes the original, and the next note, then the next note, and it's a sequence of 3 from there. So in a normal scale that you probably know, so we go in like an A minor scale, I go 5, 7, 8, then I make my new starting note 7, 7, 8, 5, 8, 5, 7, and I play the scale like that. So it's just a different way to think of things. It's a pattern. And there's also sequences of 4s, and it goes crazy and crazy and crazy. But that last part that I did, I'll put the camera more there, so I go. So 3, 5, 7, 3, 5, 7 on the 5th string. Then I drop to the 4th string, back to the 5th string, so that was 4th string, 4th fret, back to the 5th string, 5, 7, then 4th string, 4, 5, back to the 5th string for that 7. So then I'm all out of notes on the 5th string, so I go 4, 5, 7 on the 4th string. So and then it descends. So this is all we know. Actually, it ends right there, and then it just goes up. So if you guys want me to show you exactly what that is, I can, or we can keep talking about the lick and melody. Any tips on string skipping cleanly? Yes, I do actually. I have a lick that I've shown some of you before that I think is really cool, and my tips would be to play it slow first. Some people are against that, but I don't think there's really any other way to play things fast. There are. Once you get better at it, it's easier, but when you're starting out, it's just, I don't know, I still do it. So I don't know why people say that. I still think it's smart, so I'm just going to stick with that. So playing things slow and accurate. You don't have to be like crazy and work it up with a metronome maybe at a certain level, but you do want to slow anything down and develop a good habit and then speed it up. Because the thing about guitar is muscle memory. If you learn something wrong, it's going to drive you absolutely crazy. So just make sure that you learn it right. You don't want to ever, do something beyond your ability to the point where you're doing it all the time, and then you have to relearn it, because that makes learning so much harder. So the string skipping lick that I always like to start with, and I'm pretty sure it's a Paul Gilbert thing, is on the 6th string. I just use the normal minor shape. So I go 6th string, 5, 7, 8, and then 5th string, 5, 7, 8, and then to complete the shape, 1 octave of this shape, you would go to the 4th string and just go 5, 7. But the cool thing about this, which actually leads us into another topic that is cool, is that not only is that a way to string skip, so it's another way to look at scales. So we just saw 1 octave of this scale. So the mentality behind this theory, this example, is why can't I just play that shape somewhere else, right? On the next octave note, which you can. So instead of playing the scale, you're gonna go, and then because of the tuning of the guitar, you move up. And that's a really cool way to play a scale, right? So now I've learned one shape, but I moved it 3 different ways, right? Into 3 different octaves. And you can do that with any scale that you know. So that's really cool about that, right? So you can learn scales a few different ways. You can learn just the traditional shapes, you can learn 3 note per strings, and you can learn how to move in octaves, which I think was really helpful for me. Like moving in octaves and thinking in intervals really opened up a lot of doors and thoughts, and especially in my improvising. So since we're doing that, moving it around, I'll tell you the frets that I did move it to. So I started on the 6th string, 5, 7, 8, 5, 7, 8, 5, 7, 8, 5, 7, 8, yes, 5, 7. Then I replaced the octave, so this A, or A flat in my case, I replaced it with my pointer. I did the same exact shape, right? Why not? If it's the same notes and the same scale, it should work. So now I'm going 9, 11, 7, 9, 10, right? Then same thing. Oh. But then when we jump up, because the guitar is different, so the tuning of the guitar is different, when you tune your guitar and they teach you like, you know, and then you go a half step down, when you get to the B string, that's why we're also moving here, because the guitar is just slightly different in that spot. So I moved to 8 to 10. Then I go to 10, which is another A. 10, 12, 13, 10, 12, 13 on the 2nd string and 1st string. And then to end it, I just move up on the 1st string since I'm now out of strings. So 15 to 17. And to do string skipping with that, what I like to do is go from this octave to the next octave. So I think that one's really cool. 5, 7, 8, jump over, 7, 9, 10, back to the 5th string. So I went from 6 to 4. Now I'm going back to 5, right? 5, 7, 8, and then I jump again, and I just bring it back. So on the 3rd string, I go 7, 9, 10, 9. Actually, I don't just ascend, so I go like this. So on the first ones, I always just do 3 notes. So the first one's like the ones inside the 5th fret. So I go 5, 7, 8, then I jump 7, 9, 10, and just straight back, right? And 5, 7, 8. But instead of just ending there, I end right there. So I would start slow. And my best tips too are really relaxed wrist is what really, really makes a difference. So having a relaxed wrist to the point where you can speed it up without any pain or anything is really important. I have not been reading the comments, so I'm going to read them. It's not, my guitar does kind of look like an SG, but it is not a SG. So a lot of you ask about my guitar, which is cool. I love this guitar. This is actually my signature guitar. So I play for Menard Guitars, and they made me this a couple years ago, and it turned out way better than I could have ever imagined. So it's a Menard guitar, but this is a very custom paint job. So you can't buy this paint, but you can buy this shape. So the shape is called the Fury. And I have it kind of set up with a thinner neck, so it's kind of more shreddy, like a wizard neck. And then I added the Floyd and DiMarzio's, and it's really awesome. So it's got this lace on it. It's a real piece of lace. You can't feel it, though. It's got a clear coat over it. So that's something really cool about it. Thank you. So yeah, Menard guitars. A lot of you asked that. Yeah, I don't know why people are weird about playing slow to play fast either. I think that's just people, I don't know. I don't want to say anything mean, but that seems lazy. But I think you don't have to be psycho about it, but it's just if you can play it clean, you need to be able to play it clean slow. If you can play it fast but you can't play it slow, that's crazy. Yes, totally works. What do you mean thinking in intervals, not in scale shapes? I mean still scale shapes, but what I mean by thinking in intervals is say that you're playing one scale shape and you're here and you're not in as used to your normal position, maybe starting from the sixth string down. I like to think in intervals as okay, I'm gonna grab a whole step up. Like if I'm gonna improvise this way on the guitar, so horizontally, so up and down a string, linear, I think is the right word. So seeing scales not only like this, but like this. So just opening your mind to that. I think that's cool because then if I want to throw in a little note here and there or something, it just helped me a lot. Zara play right-handed guitar, but I'm left-handed, and I can only pinch harmonic while up picking. Huh? That's interesting. I don't know if I can do that. Okay, I think why you'd feel that. So Sam said that oh, okay, sorry. You asked me two questions. You said, is it weird that you are playing right-handed guitar but you're left-handed? I don't think it's weird. A lot of my students over the years have had that problem. I think it's probably, if you can do it, I think it's probably better in the long run because there's just not as many left-handed guitars. You could always Hendrix it and just flip the guitar the other way around, of course, but I think if you can, do it, but I always say whatever feels the most natural. So when you're starting out, if you go to a guitar store and you try left-handed guitar and try right-handed guitar, and I would just pick whatever feels the most comfortable and natural to you, like with anybody buying any guitar. Because if you like your guitar, you're going to practice more, right? That just makes sense. And we're all different, and we all like different things. So some people like a huge neck, some people like a thin neck, some people like Strats, some people like Gibsons. So whatever you like, there's no wrong answer. But the reason why that's interesting that you're only pinching or you're only doing pinch harmonics up. I would say I think why you feel like that works for you is because when you do a pinch harmonic, you have to make sure that your thumb is touching the string too. So it's not just your pick. That's what makes that sound. So I'm super, super choked up. I can never figure out the camera. So it's super choked up. See how it's like flush? My pick is flush with my hand. So try that out and see if you can do it. But the best advice I always got, because I would listen to Zakk Wylde and I'd be like, oh my gosh, I want to do that. And I'd listen to Dimebag and I'd be like, oh my god, how can I figure this out? Or oh my gosh, sorry. I'd say, how can I figure this out? And I was told by all my teachers, like, you just need to choke up on your pick and go sit with your guitar and just figure it out. And I was like, what kind of advice is that? But it's true. So choke up on your pick like a ton. So just where it's flush with your finger, and remember that that's what's making that noise. And over time, I don't know how I got to being able to switch it fast. I'm sure it was just over time and practicing slow. But I mean, I like them, so I use them a lot. But you can also just hold one note. So I'm on the 3rd string, 7th fret, and you can just pick and then keep choking up till you hear it. I think that would be really helpful. And that's kind of cool too. If you move it around, you get different sounds. So that's another lesson within a lesson. I hope that helps. But yes, mess around with that. Yes, relaxed wrist is definitely the key. My DiMarzios are a PAF Pro and a deactivator. Because Paul Gilbert and John Petrucci, why not? They're smart. Let's see. Let's see, you are coming in great here. Awesome. Oh, of course, I'll slow it down. I know, the speed picking lessons are weird because you would want me to play it slow, but then it's also fat. I get it. So, no worries. So, Rick said, she's right. Interesting. Is it interesting that I'm right, or did you learn something? I'm just kidding. Let's see. The volume drops when you shred. Let's see. Let me know if that worked, Dwayne. All right, so I'm gonna go back to YouTube. And also, guys, I want to give you these codes. So I've been with Guitar Control for a while now, and I love it. It's awesome. I'm really, really glad to be able to play for a company that, it's all about playing from the heart. I think that's really cool, and I think that's really what music is all about. And it's also something that is not taught frequently at all. So today, I have a discount code for you guys for watching my live stream. So thank you so much. Make sure you use this code to get your discount. And it's for Killer Guitar Control Secrets. And it's all about playing from your heart. And so it's getting what you hear in your head out of your hands. So I'm going to pin it in, let me see. I'm going to go ahead and pin it to the top of the chat so you guys can see it. And then YouTube, I think I have to add it a couple times because I think you lose it. But it's all about playing from the heart. So check this out. And thank you guys for watching. Remember, there's videos on their channel too, so YouTube. All right, cool. Yes, you do have to find the spots to do your pinch harmonics. Yes, relaxed wrist is the key to what you learned today. That is awesome. Let's see. Sorry, guys, just going through these comments real quick. Oh, I went through them backwards. That makes sense. Pinch harmonics are the same distance as natural ones. Huh. I wish that it wasn't cutting out. I'll try and figure that out for you guys. But it helps when you guys say things, so thank you. Wish to see, which part again? Do you feel like different guitars allow for better harmonics? No, I don't know. Well, I'm sure. Like if you have a really, really bad guitar, it's not going to feel awesome. But I always like the mentality of, I think it was Paul Gilbert that said it, that tone comes from your hands too. Because you can put a lot of effects on things, but I still feel like there's something special about the way each person does their vibrato or anything like that too. Or different guitar manufacturers. Probably, I think some guitars are aimed more for certain genres, but I think you can get the same stuff out of a lot of different ones. But obviously, like, if I wanted to do, my fiance and I moved to Nashville, and now everybody, when they want to hear you, like, shred, they'll always give me an acoustic guitar. So that has been something new that I need to learn how to be like, oh, okay, that's a lot harder, because they're not made for that. So a pinch harmonic would be much harder on an acoustic. It's not impossible, but it would be harder. But, if you get a semi-hollow body that's like the crazy Gibsons that are for rockabilly, your pinch harmonics might sound different from the guitar, but I think basically you can take your techniques and your sound and put it on other guitars, but you should choose what you like. But yeah, I'm sure to some extent, but I think not as much as you think. Like how a lot of people always ask, like, should I learn on acoustic or electric? And I always think that's I get the question, but I think it's a little weird because it's the same chords and it's the same scales and it's the same stuff. So it's not like a completely different instrument, but there is a different art to it. So probably more like that. Okay, let's see. When, where, how to drop a lesson idea. Yes, Jesse, drop them in the comments. So myself or Carl or somebody with Guitar Control will look through them. So when you have a lesson idea, definitely drop them in the comments, both for longer lessons like today. Today's going to be a longer lesson. Oh my gosh, it's almost done. It goes by so fast. And thank you guys for being so cool. So it goes by fast when it's fun. Or time flies when you're having fun. It's probably a better way to say that. I'm sorry. So when you have a question, just drop it down. Yeah, it's about question time. Let's go ahead and make it. Really quick before question time, though, I did want to actually go more in depth about these DVDs. So I'm going to drop the link in YouTube again. I want you guys to check it out. So it's very, very cool. I've been with them for, I think about 6 months, but Guitar Control has been a thing for 10 years. So there is a method to this. They know what they're talking about, and this is all about playing from your heart. So check this out. It's called Killer Guitar Control Secrets. That's your special discount code. And in this lesson, you're going to learn 3 different things. He's going to go over, it's Claude. So Claude is the owner of Guitar Control. He's very cool, and it's very cool to hear him, how passionate he is about explaining this, because he was saying, you hear Eric Clapton, and you hear Jimi Hendrix, and you hear all these, like, monster players, like Santana, And then you wonder, you know, you can buy any magazine or anything and you can learn a bunch of licks, but you wonder, how did they get to be who they are, and how do you actually learn how to play from the heart? So it covers technique, it covers fretboard knowledge, and it covers brain-hand connection. And so that means getting everything in your head out through your hands. So learning all these things and then getting what you hear in your head out through your hands. So check that out and you'll get a special discount. All right, and now it's question time. So question time can be anything. So let's see. Can you guys teach the trick? That is cool. That would be a very cool lesson. I do love Van Halen. I used to buy white Vans and make them Van Halen print, which maybe he could sue me, but I hope not. But I used to have Van Halen Vans. Time bag unplugged. Yeah, that is weird. It is the weirdest thing ever since we moved here. They're always like, "Hey, you play guitar? Here, go play guitar." Like, we both got to play with Billy Ray Cyrus, which was awesome. And he was like, "Play this, play this acoustic." But it was actually Stevens acoustic, so I got to play an ESP acoustic, so that wasn't as hard. But it's through like an acoustic amp. And then the other night, some restaurant that does music, they found out that I play guitar and they had me go play like a singer-songwriter night, play shred stuff on acoustic guitar, which is interesting. Yeah, cool. That's awesome. So I was on YouTube, I'm gonna look on Facebook. Facebook seems to have a delay, so excuse me if I look confused sometimes. Okay. So yes, check that out. I'm going to drop it in YouTube again. Jesse and Doug collaborating on ideas. That's cool. And yeah, if you're having sound issues on Facebook, Doug said when he went to YouTube, he didn't have them. So I'm streaming at the same time to both. And like I was saying earlier, so I do quick tips on, let's see, I go YouTube. I do quick tips on Fridays. So leave comments about both topics. What you want to learn on Fridays for just quick tips for like 15 minutes. Oh, Carlos said, play something, please. I probably have been talking for a while, so okay. So that's actually also within this topic. So when we were talking about, I gave some song choices. I also really like the Racer X song, Scarified. But he has this melody kind of that's all speed, so that's why I like that example. The Yngwie one's probably a better example for, you'll use more often, but Scarified's also really cool. I think that's cool. But that's a really cool example too. I should have brought up earlier. And if you're bringing this in without a song example, what I would say is when I was talking about earlier, so let me read my own notes to myself. Don't be afraid to take like breaths too when you're phrasing. I think that can be really cool. So like, you don't always have to be fast or... I think it doesn't always have to have a ton of things behind it, but I think it can, obviously. But if you're trying to blend melody with speed, you can do a melody and then use, like I was saying in that Yngwie example, use speed to kind of complement it. I think that's the best way to do it. So if you're just jamming... So it doesn't all have to be crazy, is my point. Cool. Thanks, Carlos. Okay, guitars. You gotta keep one, throw one out, or play one once. Like guitars that I own, you gotta keep one, throw one out, or play one once. I would keep this guitar. I don't want to throw any of them. I guess I would throw out. I guess I would throw out my Squire, but it should mean a lot to me because it was my first guitar and it was awful. It was a hand-me-down that was really bad, and but I learned a lot. I remember when I got my first good guitar. One of my brother's friends was playing a long time. And he's like, "Don't you feel like you're driving a Ferrari now?" Because I like earned it in my parents' eyes, like that I could get a nice guitar because I proved I liked it. But I have to. Was it burn one? Oh no, keep one, throw one out, or play one once. If I was gonna only play a guitar once, I would want it to be like an insane guitar with like, I don't know, two four necks or something, or maybe it'd be like the heart guitar that Steve Vai has. But I wouldn't want to play it once. But I mean, it'd be something I maybe wouldn't need it. You can't go wrong with Jimi Hendrix or Stevie Ray Vaughan. That's true. How do you find interesting notes based on a tonic motif? I think I was just watching something about Joe Satriani talking about that. I think using notes that people wouldn't suspect. He was saying how that makes people want to listen longer. I mean, it depends on your audience too. He was saying like it was him and Steve Vai, like everything is game, you know. But if you, are doing like a pop record, you're not going to want to do that. But I think a lot of it is improvising and messing around and finding what you think is interesting, and maybe just picking a note that's unexpected. So I think that's really cool. That's what I mean by like jam tracks and stuff that I used, or jam with somebody. Playing with people, I think, is huge. Like I've said this before, my fiance's band is like way crazy, and they do like he plays in a band called I Wrestle a Bear once, and they do like tons of weird, interesting things that I went to school and was like nerdy, and so like he'll make all these weird sounds or he'll use pedals a lot, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I want to be cool like that. Wait, hold on a second, I'll be right back, and then I'm inspired to go figure something else out. So I think being pushed out of your element is always very cool too. But I think a jam track is also great because it can be one you make yourself or one that you buy. There's some on Guitar Control, or just you could make one yourself too, or something, or on your own song, take out all the leads and then just keep going, and making up new ideas that you can move around into other things. The White Goddess is so me, in my opinion, because that was the first one I saw you play. That was my first like kind of custom guitar, which is cool. That I guess that it is me. I used to play a Black Goddess forever, and then I got to get another one. And I didn't know what I wanted, and I didn't want like a really bright color, and so I thought it would be cool. Like I wear so much black, I thought that it might stand out, and I thought it looked really nice and clean. But I do also really like gold guitars. But color guitars are cool too. I'm not against any of it. Excuse me. Oh, okay, I'll have to check my sound. Thank you guys. Everything that you guys let us know is great feedback. Do I like the Beatles? Kind of. I know that's so bad. I should like them more. That's like the one band that I don't dislike them at all by any means, but I'm not like as crazy for them as other people are. But I think they're obviously innovative and very talented, but I kind of like the Rolling Stones better because they're darker. I don't know, I just like darker music, but I mean, I also write pop songs, so who knows? Jesse said that Iwavo is life goals. All right, let's see. Yes, Steven does very interesting guitar stuff, which is really cool. The whole sound is interesting, cool, and unexpected. Okay, let's see. What tone do you use on your fractal? And do you have a band or solo project? So right now I'm using the FAS Lead 2. I like that one a lot. I always seem to come back to that one. It's number 35. Mine's pretty unaltered too at the moment, so that's what I'm using. But I love the fractal because when I was in LA, I was working at Hans Zimmer's studio, and I was working on the TV side, and I got to experience a lot of different things too. So that's what I'm saying, like, put yourself out of your element, because I was like a metal kid in this studio that like I didn't feel like I totally belonged in, but I ended up belonging in, which is cool. But I learned a lot about like, especially different styles of music. Like composers are always making instruments out of anything. Like they would take a pick and be like, what kind of sound is that? That's so crazy. I'm gonna mic it and change it and manipulate it. And I was not like that before. So I think that's really cool. Sorry, you just asked me something else. Yes, playing with anybody is awesome. Do I have a band or solo project? I'm working on a solo project. I've been in bands before, but I've been mostly like a hired gun kind of, and I'll play at conventions and stuff a lot, but I really want to put out a solo shred album. I also sing, though, too, and write pop songs. So there you go. It's very different spectrums. But I do definitely want to make a point to, do a solo project throughout. So I want to release a shred album. How do you find? Okay, I think I already answered that. Sorry. Pick a deceased guitarist to resurrect. Well, that seems mean to just pick one. I don't know. I guess off the top of my head, Prince is so recent. I would want Prince. I mean, I want them all to come back to life. I'm not going to say I don't want anybody to come back to life because that's awful. But I think probably Hendrix or even Kurt Cobain because that was so sad to me. I liked him a lot when I first started playing guitar. I thought, that's a cool lesson too, is that he is not the most technical or maybe like best guitar player, but he is interesting and he writes things that you remember. And Kirk Hammett does that too. I think Kirk Hammett gets a lot of flack and stuff. And I get it for like some of the vibrato stuff. It's different. It's not like a Steve Vai guitar sound or anything, but I think it really fits Metallica, and I think he writes solos that you really remember. And I just love Metallica. I think we're almost done. So thank you guys. I do want you to check out that link though. Killer Guitar Control Secrets, playing from your heart. So that's what it's all about, and that's what we're all about here. So remember, you're going to get those 3 different things. You're going to go over techniques, hammer-ons, pull-offs, all the things that I was doing today, fretboard knowledge, scales, arpeggios, chords, and then hand-brain chord connection. So you're going to get everything that's in your head out of your hands. And this isn't something that's taught in a lot of things, like at all. So that's why this is really special to us. So check out those links and you'll get a discount. Thank you so much. Go ahead and leave comments about those other subjects. Robert will be here live on Thursday, and I will be back for a long episode next Tuesday at 7 Central, and then quick tips Friday at 1 Central. So